All right, back with another update of the 2022 Baltimore Orioles. As you can see, this is an end of season update. The Dodgers did not repeat. The White Sox won the World Series. You might notice the Orioles, who were in the wild card hunt with the last update, are not here in the wild card game. We tied with the Twins for the second wild card spot and then played 163rd game. And lost 5-2 in 12 innings in the play-in game for the wild card game. So not technically a playoff appearance, but so close. Kind of a playoffs. We were in a one-game playoff, but not the playoffs. Same cast of characters over here. Nats, Padres, Cards, Braves. Pretty similar to last year. Over here, the Yankees made the playoffs again. The Indians again. The A's making the ALCS. So here's last year, as you can see. Other than the Mets are in and the Braves weren't last year. Same old story over here. Over here, decent amount of change. The Astros didn't make it. The Rays didn't make it, but they were close. The Angels didn't make it. But the White Sox made the playoffs. They've got Eloy, Luis Robert. I think people say it's Robert, so we'll go with that. So their young cores come along well. Here's the final standings. You can see with the Orioles finishing 88 and 75. Went cold down the stretch. There was a time in early September when we were up on the second wild card by like 4 games, and went kind of cold. So here's how the season ended. Went 17 and 12 in August. August was awesome. The last update was on August 1st, and then September 11 and 11. So again, pretty solid down the stretch. Runs scored, we finished third. Runs allowed, we finished ninth, with a pitcher WAR that ranked 11th. So now to how the team ended up. And let's see. So we're here batting stats with batters. Wins against replacement. Matan did finish with 7.2. He went a little cold in September. I think only had he hit 270, 280 in September. Only had 2 extra base hits, so that's a bummer. Verdugo, of course, these stats weren't all with the O's, but he was really good with me. But Rutschman and Bannon both over 4 wins above replacement, almost 5 from Rutschman, 25% above league average with the bat. Bannon and Mountcastle's bat right in the same category, 4.3 wins, 3.4. Larnach with 3 wins above replacement. Really solid foundation to build upon for offense here if these guys continue to develop, even if just a few of them do. Austin Hayes, 98 weighted runs created plus and 1.9 wins. So, about a league average bat and about a league average WAR. His glove's good. Kevin Billar, of course, is missing from this. He went down with an injury with about maybe 3 weeks ago in the season, and Victor Mesa came up because he could play the outfield pretty well. Sorry, I need a sip of water there. As you can see, his bat was totally inadequate, but wanted a good defender and didn't have an obvious replacement for him. Carlos Correa, I'll get into this more in an off-season post, but his bat was fine, a 104. So about a league average bat, about a league average WAR. But if his bat is just above league average, his glove is below league average at shortstop. If I'm gonna have a below league average shortstop, fielding wise, I need him to be really, really good with the bat. And Correa has not been that in the season and a half he's been here. But again, I'll get into that more at a different time when I do an off-season post about my plan. Pitcher WAR, Luis Severino leading the way, of course. DL Hall, 2.2 in his rookie season. Sorry, word was. Connor Jones and Oscar De La Cruz both made the All-Star game. Both were awesome out of the pen. Alex Wood put up 1.6 wins above replacement, but only 0.3 with the O's in 18 starts. That's pretty disappointing. And of course I talked about Castillo and Weaver. They both had much better August and September. They each got up to 0.7 wins above replacement. That's still a huge disappointment overall. Matt Barnes is a big free agent signing and was just hurt the entire year pretty much. Diaz, who I brought over, was just not very good. -2 wins above replacement. Brad Hand, who I brought over, was just not good. -8 wins above replacement. Point 0.8, sorry. Brendan McKay was terrible. Lots of issues with the pitching. And I think some of that is fielding related, but um, the pitching did show a drastic improvement when I brought in a new pitching coach in May, but it still just wasn't good enough. And as shocking as this may be, after winning 88 games in the first season, I was even hoping to be, competitive around 500. I didn't renew Hyde's contract. Um, and I'm likely going to promote my bench coach. I'm not totally sure yet, but basically Hyde's relationship and development skills were particularly bad with pitchers. Um, and so, I'm going out and I'm acquiring, 3 really good top, maybe not number 1 aces, but 3 really good number 2 or excellent number 3 starters here in Weaver, Wood, Castillo, and none of them are doing anything. It's just going to be impossible to compete. So anyways, so Hyde didn't renew his contract. Not sure what I'm going to do. I might consider bringing him back if he's open to it, but I did let his contract expire. Wasn't ready to commit to him yet, and might promote my bench coach, who has much better relationship skills and development skills. So yeah. And then, so just a quick look at the farm system here too. The end of season update, we dropped to 8th, and we'll drop further next season because so many of our guys are no longer going to be considered prospects. Asa Lacy, I did promote to AAA, and he put a 6.59 ERA in 6 starts. He had a few really good starts and then just got bombed his last couple starts. Brady Corrigan, again, not sure what this guy's deal is. He's still a 37th ranked prospect. He's 24 in high A ball with a 6.65 ERA. I mean, great potential, but it's probably time to see what I can get for him. I mean, look, the OSA loves him. But at 24 in A ball, I'm not convinced he's going to make the leap. 6.2 walks per 9. If I can get something for him, I'm doing it. But I'm not going to give him up. I'm not going to give him away. But if I can get something decent, I'm doing it. Larnach, of course, on the Major League roster had a great season. Gunnar Henderson was in Double-A, looking like he's going to be a good shortstop. Didn't have the best offensive season with an 86 runs created plus. Was hurt a little bit. He's still only 21. Miguel Tejada is a starting pitcher, looking like a good prospect. He was doing okay in A-ball and was 22, so I promoted him to Double-A. And he didn't do well in 28 innings, but he'll start there next year and hopefully progress a bit. Leo Martez was my international free agent signing in the original year, 2020. Repeated in rookie ball and was bad again. Not as bad, but, negative .4 WAR. And, so we'll see what the future brings for him. But not a good start to his career. Matan, of course, we have Bob Maldonado, 75th in ranked prospect. He's 16. I signed him in the international free agency back in July. He's in my international complex and will be a couple years till he pitches. Jack Perkins was, of course, my first round pick this past year. I just gave him a few innings in rookie ball since he has a college arm. I then promoted him to short A, and we'll go to high A ball next year. Nothing remarkable here. ERA is around 5, but we'll see what that brings. What else we got going on here? Drew Bowser is looking like a player. I drafted him in the first round supplemental pick in my first year in 2020. He's just turned 21, and he put up a 133 runs created plus and 2.2 WAR in high A ball. So he's going to be still just 21 when the season starts, probably in Double-A. Not sure he's going to cut it as a shortstop. I've had him working on that, and his position rating there just hasn't really bumped up. So maybe he's more of a second and third base guy, which is a little disappointing, but looking pretty good with the bat. DL Hall, we know Adam Hall was actually my utility guy for much of the second half of the year, I think, and did pretty well. Was about league average with the bat and has a really good glove. Mitchell Stone, who I traded for, he was a pretty good pitching prospect. He started the year in A-ball and put up 1.6 WAR with an ERA of 2.9, a FIP way higher. So I promoted to Double-A, and he didn't do great, but he's 24. It's time for him to step up if he's going to do it. Diplon is a AAA starter / Major League long guy who's pitched really well in Double-A the last 2 years. Happy with him. Not sure he's a primary building block, but looks like a Major League player. Feldman, of course, my closer. He was good this year. And who else is interesting in here? Keyshawn Frett. He was a second-round pick in 2020 and had a really bad years in 20 and 21. But then this year As a 20-year-old in low A ball, put up only .7 WAR because he was hurt in 27 games, but a 136 runs created plus. So that was good to see. He'll go to high A ball next year, or full season A ball. Colton Eastman looks like he's a guy I got from the Phillies, and he's been a pretty solid major league / AAA arm for me. Kind of shuttle him back and forth when I need fresh arms, and he made some starts for me this year. 5 starts, he put up .4 WAR in 53 innings. He's a decent piece. Jamie Chisholm has been a top 100 prospect, but has plummeted. He, of course, was the first overall pick in 2021. His ratings have started dropping, which is, again, one of those things I talked about with drafting high school players. If they don't reach, the chances of them reaching that ceiling are not anything great. He was okay in rookie ball to start his last year, and then this year was not great in low A ball as a 19/20-year-old. Other quick updates just on minor leaguers. I'm not going to go through the whole system. Grayson Rodriguez had a really good season in AAA. Again, those shoulder injuries, the scouts don't think nearly as high of him, but he put up 3 wins above replacement in AAA this year, had an ERA under 3. So he'll be in the mix next year to kind of, spot start, long relief, etc. And let's just make sure I'm not missing any other headliners. Colton Hawk, a good relief prospect. Other guys who I've highlighted before. Zach Watson looks like he could be a decent utility type guy. I've got some other outfield here. Stowers and Isbell, Riser. These kind of guys will be in the mix next year for bench spots, 4th outfielder, etc. I got some other decent guys here. Reese Albert's a draft pick who's coming up. Yeah. So Joey Yancey had a really nice year at A ball. He put 4.1 WAR in 125 innings, and then went to Double A. And they didn't put him in the rotation. He threw 11 innings, but had a 2.3 ERA, 0.67 FIP. I mean, he strikes out a ton of dudes. Not sure with this movement and control if he'll be a starter, but as a reliever, he's looking like he could be awesome. We'll see what next year brings. He was a 2020 29th round pick. I did want to go back and look at Nick Matan's season for a second just because it was so good. As you can see, put up 7.2 WAR, 324 average, an on base of 394, and a slugging of 548. He drove in 116 runs. He had 42 doubles. Just a really nice season, and he scored 111 runs. Even though he really trailed off in September and was pretty mediocre. And it cost him. I'm going to the wrong tab here. It cost him basically making a run at a bunch of single season Oriole top 10. So, his average was up over 350 much of the year. He finished at 324, so that's not going to cut it there. On base, he kind of hung around 420, but it fell to 394, so not there. His slugging fell to 548 because he only had 2 extra base hits. He was up around 600 a lot of the year. So he didn't make OPS either. Single season WAR, he did come in at 8th though. And he was on this for a while, and he just hung around like 7.2 the last 3 weeks or so. I thought he was going to be able to make a run at 8. I mean, even in August, he was on pace for over 9 WAR, so he really fell off. Let's see what runs. He only got 116, so again, his September swoon cost him. Hits, he made the leaderboard, 212, 10th best of all time. That's fun. That's awesome. Doubles, he ended up with 42. He was on pace for over 50 doubles much of the season, so he didn't make that either. And our RBIs finished with 116, so 122. I did think that Larnach made that, but I guess he didn't. Larnach and Mountcastle were both close to 122. So Nick Matan, he kind of cost himself making his mark in multiple categories there, which would have been fun. Larnach tied for 10th. So, yeah, I mean, these 3 guys plus Rylan Bannon and Adley Rutschman, just 5 really good pieces, even if not all of them, progress linearly and continue to be awesome. Just having 3 cornerstone guys like that who are, all going to put up at least 3 wins above replacement, and some might even put up 5+. That's huge, huge. So that's kind of the end of season recap. I'm gonna do a separate post with my off season plan, just because I think it'll get too long if I do it all at once here. But anyway, so we won 88 games. We got into a playoff kind of game, a play-in game for the playoffs, and just fell short. Just fell short. I watched that one, and it was frustrating. Some of the missed opportunities at bat. Um, so disappointing end with our superstar player kind of tailing off. Disappointing end with not uh, making the playoffs, but overall, man, like awesome season. 88 wins, almost made the wild card. Had 5 legit pieces step forward on offense. Had a few awesome bullpen pieces. DL Hall looks solid. Just need to fix that rotation, which might be as simple as having a head coach who has better relationship and development skills with pitchers. But we'll see. I'll get into all that. The offseason posts. Oh, and I know I keep saying, and one last thing, but Juan Soto, 10.4 wins above replacement, a 505 on base percentage, 748 slugging percentage. Stanton hit 58 home runs. So 5 guys crossed 50: Moncada, Alonso, Sano, Olson, and Stanton. Trout hit 49. Oh wow, Nick Matan fell out of the top 10 in WAR. Wow. He was neck and neck with Soto for a while, and then kind of trailed off and was hitting third or fourth. Even in early September, he was third or fourth in overall WAR. But he might have led the league in hits still, though. Did he? Was he able to do that? No, he lost by 7 with his 212. So yeah, that's the season. The pitching leaders. Let's see who led the pitching wins above replacement here. Shohei Ohtani with 7.4 just as a pitcher. Yeah, just as a pitcher, and then he put up another 2.3 as a hitter. So not quite as 5.9 and 4.6 of last year, right? It's a little less, I think. But 2.3 wins above replacement in 94 games is pretty awesome, and he's a great arm for them. It looks like Jack Flaherty had a great season as well. Mackenzie Gore coming along nicely for the Padres. This is random. Trevor Williams has had 3 really nice seasons in a row for the Pirates, and some other names you'd probably expect. Kevin Gossman led the league in wins. Did he do it? Was he like good or just lucky? 3.5 WAR. So the Nats, he's doing well there. And so just make sure there's nothing else crazy down here. Garrett Cole, 257 strikeouts is pretty nice. Flaherty at 11.7 K per 9. Ohtani led the league in FIP. Yeah. So that's about it. I'll be back with an off-season kind of plan. So there are a bunch of things I'm kind of considering doing, and I didn't do the awards yet just because I want to get to my off-season plan before doing that, and I'm likely going to make trades before the awards even come out. But I expect Nick Matan to win Rookie of the Year, although Larnach did win Rookie of the Month the last 2 months of the season, so we'll see. Maybe he'll make a late push, but Matan with a 7.2 WAR is going to be tough to beat. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. That's the end of this episode. Go O's.